Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain, and lots of news as usual. We're seeing that Bitcoin is becoming more and more relevant around the world. It's being considered a more relevant asset class, a viable asset class, a vital asset class by many across the world, and we'll show you some evidence of that. As usual, let's go ahead and start with the cryptocurrency market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading just a tad under $100,000. We broke that $100,000 mark last week on last Wednesday, December 4th. What an amazing accomplishment for Bitcoin and for those who have been hodling for years. This was a long time coming for many, but many also knew that it was just a matter of time before we got to $100,000. And this is just the beginning, especially when you look at some of the evidence that we will present further later on in this video. You can see that Ethereum is currently trading just under $4,000 at $39.74. It actually got up to $4,000. It's up over 7.77% over the past 7 days. And it's likely to get back to that $4,000 mark. That's been a bit of a psychological barrier as well. So it's nearing its all-time highs, which were reached back in 2021. XRP continues to see massive growth. They actually have big news with XRP being profiled by 60 Minutes, which is a popular news program in the United States. And that should get a lot of mainstream looks through that piece. So we shall see what happens with XRP after that piece is aired. And you can see it's up over 36%, trading at over $2.50. Solana trading pretty flat right now. It's kind of losing ground to some of the other platforms and some of the other coins over the past week. As you can see in the top 10, it is the lowest performing coin, but it's still in that $235 range or so. It's currently trading at $237. Dogecoin seeing a nice jump up again. It was around 40 to 44 cents, and now it's above 45 cents at 46 cents. It's up nearly 10% over the past week. Cardano still doing very well, up over 13% at over $1. And Tron now in the top 10, back in the top 10. It's currently trading at 31 cents, and it is up 54% over the past week. A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that its founder, Justin Sun, bought a banana taped to a canvas for $6.2 million. Leave that there. So Bitcoin, as you can see here, if we look at the weekly chart, you can see, or I should say the chart over the past week, you can see that Bitcoin did pass that $100,000 mark on December 4th. And then we went up even higher to around 104,000. It was about 103,500, depending on what exchange you were checking. And then it started to come down, shake out a few people, shake out some of the folks who were bidding high up for Bitcoin. So this is going to happen. This is where the volatility comes from. And once it dropped all the way down to around $92,000, it slowly moved back up over the next couple of days and is now trading near that $100,000 range. So one of the things that may have pushed Bitcoin to 100,000 on Wednesday, December 4th, may have to do with the Federal Reserve Chief and Chair Jerome Powell. He was interviewed and he said that he doesn't believe Bitcoin is necessarily competing with the US dollar, but it's actually a bit of a competitor to gold. And many people have talked about Bitcoin being digital gold. Gold currently has a market cap of about 16 trillion. And if we go back here, we can see that Bitcoin has a market cap just under 2 trillion. So still an 8x to go to get to even with the gold market cap. But this actually, I'm sure, provides some legitimacy for many retail investors as well as larger institutions that have been waffling as to whether or not they should get into Bitcoin and invest in Bitcoin. And this is just another indication when you see the Federal Reserve Chair speak about Bitcoin, and not only speak about it, compares it to gold. You can see he said people use Bitcoin as a speculative asset. It's just like gold, only it's virtual, it's digital. People are not using it as a form of payment. which some people are, or as a store of value. It's highly volatile. It's not a competitor for the dollar, at least not right now. We'll see if that actually comes to pass one day, way in the far future. It's really a competitor for gold. So after that remark was made, later on Tuesday evening is when Bitcoin moved above $100,000. And around the world, there's still regulation that is being formed and passed throughout the world. As you can see here, the Czech Republic has now voted to have a exemption for Bitcoin holders. So Bitcoin holders, if they hold for more than 3 years, they will be exempt from taxes. They will not have to pay capital gains tax on Bitcoin if it's held for more than 3 years. Now, just be careful, especially those Bitcoin holders out in the Czech Republic. You still may want to consider holding on to your Bitcoin. This could be a way that the Czech Republic or other people who are greedy and want to get, not even necessarily greedy, but just want to get their hands on more Bitcoin, just make a consideration with regards to whether or not you choose to sell your Bitcoin. But regardless, everybody's situation is different. Depending on when you got into Bitcoin, it may be a good idea to take some lifestyle chips off the table, as some people say. So anyway, it goes to show that countries are taking this asset class very seriously, and they're making sure that they have regulations and legislation that is crypto friendly. And Czech Republic is definitely crypto friendly. It's been one of the more crypto friendly countries since the beginning. And as you can see here from this post from BTC Prague, is that the Czech Republic actively promotes hodling by canceling capital gains tax on Bitcoin held for longer than 3 years. And it was done in a unanimous vote. So that just goes to show how Bitcoin, or how crypto friendly the Czech Republic is. And then now we have news that all of the Bitcoin, US Bitcoin ETFs combined have surpassed Satoshi Nakamoto, and they now hold over 1.1 million Bitcoin. Michael Saylor now refers to a bag of 1.1 million or more of Bitcoin as a Nakamoto. And as we can see here, the US spot ETFs cumulatively are now holding over 1.1 million Bitcoin. And this is in less than a year. And you can see Binance, Microstrategy with over 402,000. And as we mentioned in our last video, they were probably going to be adding to their Bitcoin stash. We wouldn't be surprised by the time you watch this video, there'll be another announcement that they've added more to their Bitcoin stash. So they're definitely on the chase to get to a Nakamoto, as Michael Saylor has put it. Speaking of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, there are plenty of companies now that are looking to have the same strategy as MicroStrategy. Similar Scientific is one of them. They're a med tech company, and they have been acquiring Bitcoin all of 2024. And you can see here, as of November 25th and December 4th, they acquired another 303 Bitcoin for $29 million. They now have a total of 1,873 Bitcoin, which were acquired for an aggregate $147 million and an average price of $78,553 per Bitcoin, and that's including fees and expenses. So they are planning on continuing to add more Satoshis when they deem necessary, and they are going to be having this Bitcoin strategic reserve on their balance sheet in the hopes that Bitcoin will continue to go up in value, and obviously that will make their company more valuable, and that will obviously appease the shareholders. And they have been able to add a Bitcoin yield of 78.7% over the year of 2024. So that's pretty amazing. Some of the miners are also getting into the game. MicroStrategy not only uses sales of their stock at the money, so basically at the market price, they sell their stock. If they see it running up, they'll sell some of their stock into the market, raise funds, and use those funds to buy Bitcoin. Another way that they've done it is through convertible notes in the convertible bond market. And so Iron, which is a Bitcoin miner, is going with that playbook, and they announced their proposed convertible notes offering. And you can see here and read a little bit more if you go to the Iron press release, but they're looking to raise an aggregate of approximately $300 million of convertible senior notes to then be used to purchase Bitcoin. Hut 8, another mining company, will also be doing something similar. They'll be doing an at the market offering. As you can see here, they're launching an ATM program and stock repurchasing program, and it's going to equip the business with two powerful tools that they believe will bolster their ability to navigate the volatile markets in which they operate as Bitcoin miners, because it can definitely be up and down, because as we've talked about before, when you have the Bitcoin halving, which occurs basically every 4 years, the mining rewards are cut in half. So that obviously can do a number on miners who are trying to mine Bitcoin. So you can see here that we believe that the 3 capital market updates announced today send a clear message to shareholders and their key investors that continue to believe in us, that the flexibility provided by the ATM program strengthens their ability to pursue ambitious growth objectives with confidence while maintaining a relentless focus on driving sustainable shareholder returns. So it says here that it will include acquisition of development of power and digital infrastructure assets such as data centers, which is big in the AI space, as well as the purchase of Bitcoin as a strategic asset. Net proceeds can also go to other capital expenditures on forward, as you can see here, including the repayment of debt, working capital, etc., etc. So as we look at our updated Bitcoin treasuries chart, you can see here that as usual, Microstrategy is at the very top, and it's probably unlikely, unless a Microsoft, which Michael Saylor pitched, we talked about that last week, or a Facebook / Meta, Google. If one of those companies decide to buy Bitcoin and buy a large amount, maybe they could catch Microstrategy. But other than somebody in the Mag 7, it would be extremely difficult and unlikely that anybody will be able to catch Microstrategy. As you can see, look at this difference between Microstrategy and the next closest public company, which is Marathon Digital, who's also taking on the same strategy by doing convertible notes to raise money to buy more Bitcoin along with the Bitcoin that they mine. So you see here that companies are continuing to add to their Bitcoin stash. You can see some of these entries from other companies that are adding to their Bitcoin stash. Also, we go down here to the ETFs, the United States ETFs. You can see this adds up to more than 1 million Bitcoin being held by those issuers. And then when you go down here, you can go into private companies that are holding Bitcoin, and of course governments. And the United States, at least for now, hold the most Bitcoin that we know of at $198,000. 198,000 Bitcoin, and China close behind with 190,000. So as usual, please make sure to continue to check us out nearly every day on X as well as on IG. We stay there pretty much every day, so make sure to check us out there. And of course, thank you so much for watching us here on our YouTube channel. We will continue to bring you the latest in the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin. In the meantime, take care, and we look forward to linking up with you soon on the Networkchain. Bye-bye.